everybody, Heidi the Cycling Seamstress here. Today I'm going to show you how to make bias tape. We all know that bias tape is that it comes in that expensive little package that makes sewing even more expensive. Well, today I'm going to show you how to make bias tape using existing fabric that you may have, that maybe you want it to match or contrast, or you want to use scraps. There's a lot of possibility that you can do. However, we're going to go over how to make bias tape today. Alright folks, so to make bias tape you're going to need a few things. You are going to need the bias tape maker tools. These come in, usually you've got one that'll accept 2 inches width of fabric and one that'll accept 1 inch of fabric. I'm going to be using the big 2-inch right now today. You need a cutting mat. I use tweezers to help get the fabric through. You need a ruler. You need either your rotary or your favorite scissors. I like to use rotary. You will also need an iron and an ironing board or pressing mat. So, bias tape is funny that we know, and when we're looking at the fabric, that this way does not stretch and this way does not stretch. So let me reiterate, when we're making bias tape we're usually using like either a cotton broadcloth or a cotton novelty print, or we're using cotton generally. So this way and this way. But bias, you have to cut bias tape on the bias. Bias, you're going to stretches. So this is how we cut our bias tape. So I'm going to make 2 inches. So I'm going to use the bigger tool. And these tools, these bias tape makers, that's literally what they're called. You can either find them in your notions wall, like go to Joann's, check out the wall that has all the notions, the sewing notions like pins and stuff. Or I found mine in the quilting aisle. So you might want to look in, if you can't find them on the notions wall, go to the quilting aisle. Alright, so let's get started. So you've turned your fabric into kind of looking like a diamond. So now we're going to cut. I'm going to take my rotary here. I like to start, so this ruler is really nice. This is a drafting cut. This is a quilting drafting cut from Simplicity. I really like it because it has, this width is 2 inches, and that you see that black line that goes through it, that's 1 inch. So it's easy to cut for bias tape. So we're going to cut our bias tape, and you notice that these are small, but you sew them together to make big bias tape, long bias tape. Sometimes maybe need a new blade. So it's like you have a triangle left over. Pretty cool. Okay, so we have strips. Now these strips, when you can go over to your sewing machine and stitch them together right there. That way you get longer. I'm not going to stitch together just for easiness, but just to show you how easy, we're going to take the longer strip and we're going to move our stuff out of the way. We're going to put our pressing mat down because we'll have to iron. And we're going to take the big one. So you take this end and you start feeding it in through the back of the bias tape maker. Now this is where I'm going to use my tweezers and I'm going to pull the fabric through just so you see it pop out on the other side. And then we're going to pull it just a little bit, and you will magically notice that it comes out folded. That's what we want. Now we're going to take our iron and we're going to press. And we're just going to move right along and continue to press. Continue to press, continue to press. Let me move it back into frame here. Continue to press. Give it a good press. Press, 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 press. Now you can leave your bias tape just like this if you want. So we have folded bias tape. Now for the finishing touch, if you need to, you will fold it over again and press again. So when you're pressing, sometimes you got to be careful because it can get really hot. Make sure you get a good press and you get that good fold. And voila, you have bias tape. This is single fold. Sometimes they have double fold, but generally you're making single fold bias tape with this. It can match. It's got the give that bias tape needs to be able to go around corners and bind corners and whatnot. So this is all good. That was super short because guess what? That's all you need. That's all you need to do, and that's how easy it is to make bias tape. Just as a recap, we used a pressing mat, we used a cutting mat, we used a rotary cutter, we used this is a draft and cut ruler. It's 2 inches wide, so it's 2 inches by about 18 inches. I think I picked mine up at Joann's. I can't quite remember because I've had it for a long time. And we've also we used the 25 millimeter, so this is the 1 inch, and this is the 12, so this is the 1/2 inch. So this makes 1 inch wide bias tape. This little guy makes 1/2 inch wide bias tape. So, and also to remember, in the 1 inch bias tape, when you're using this, the actual fabric that you cut, the fabric strip, needs to be 2 inches for this one. It needs to be 1 inch for this one. Other than that, that's how you make bias tape. It's really easy, and I hope to talk to you later. And remember, please support me, HeidiTheCyclingSeamstress.com. You can check in my store link through Heidi the Cycling Seamstress. You can purchase stuff. You can join me on Facebook, The Cycling Seamstress. I hope to see you soon. Bye.